Come on, let's go. Thank you, James. Cheers. Chin chin. Right, excellent.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Hi guys, so it's Wednesday lunchtime here. I'm having another very busy work day, but I'm just popping in my lunch break to tell you about a really gorgeous little product that I ordered recently. So they are these earrings. I will include a close-up inset picture as well. It's got a little green jewel there. They are from a company called selenaschest.com and they came in gorgeous packaging as well. So obviously my little envelope with the cute little stickers. I got this, they came in this little specially for you thank you box. Then the earrings themselves came in this little cute little pink bag. I also got this, as you can see there, handwritten note thanking me for my purchase and giving me a discount code if I wanted to order from them again, and just generally wishing me well and hoping that I'm having a nice day. And then I got this little thank you bag, and inside were these really cute little earrings. Can you see that there? It's a little key with a little pearl. And yeah, so obviously that's the other one is the same. So yeah, I just thought that was really cute, and I think it really shows that when you order from a small independent retailer, they really genuinely appreciate it. They went to a lot of effort there with the little details and to show that they valued the custom. So yeah, support your small local retailers. Well, actually they are based in Bologna, Italy and Edinburgh. So technically not local to me, but they are a small independent business and they obviously really appreciate the custom. So I just thought that was lovely, and it's nice to get those little handmade, handwritten touches, isn't it? So yeah, great purchase there, and I will definitely look at them again. I don't know if I actually need any more earrings at the moment, but I may well be tempted by something in the future. You never know. Also, can I just say I got pretty badly sunburnt the other day in my face, but I'm delighted now that it's actually turned into a little bit of a tan. Hooray! So if you just wait a few days, Irish people with sensitive skin, you will get there. Although you should not be like me and you should actually wear sun cream, and I'm an Egypt who didn't wear sun cream all weekend despite it being a really sunny weekend. Don't be like me, folks. Anyway, I will talk to you again later. Okay, so I thought, what can I show you that's not a haul? And I thought I would show you my houseplants. Don't know if you're interested in that, but sure, look at, I might as well try it out and see. Okay, so I have this one, right? And I thought it was just gonna, you see there, you've got the little white round the edges of the leaves, which I thought was quite cute. Apparently this one is a spider plant, so I just thought it was going to look a little bit crazy. The leaves would be like that, but I didn't actually realise, if I go out a little bit here, that it actually has these long stalks as well. I didn't realise those were going to grow out of it as well. I've got another one to the side here. And actually then at the end it just has this little leafy thing, and then actually just in the past, I've had this a few months, but it just in the past couple of days it has actually grown these lovely little flowers on it. So yeah, actually there's another little flower on it there as well. So yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise with that one. So yeah, that's a spider plant. It is a bit crazy looking. At first I was like, are the long stalks making it look even weirder? But actually they've got, you know, flowers on them, so I think that's quite cute. Okay, so here's another little one of my house plants. I suppose the houseplant craze has gotten massive during lockdown, didn't it? Because everyone just wanted a bit of greenery about the place. Anyway, this is it. I don't know what you call this one. If I can find it online, I will insert it. It's in a little pot plant by jisk.ie. And yeah, I was just looking at it there. You can't see it on camera, but it's actually a wee bit dusty. So that's something you don't think of, isn't it? That you're going to have to dust your plants as well. So I got this in the homewares department of Dunn's stores in St Stephen's Green Shopping Centre upstairs, and I've had this for a few months as well. And I was just thinking, actually, it requires very little maintenance. I haven't watered it that much and it's been doing absolutely fine. So I was wondering, did Dunn stores maybe put some special plant food in these to keep them looking well so that the staff wouldn't have to be constantly watering them all the time in store? Because they did have a lot of house plants in the shop, and you would imagine that would be, you know, if they're requiring constant watering and whatever, that would be a fair bit of extra work for the staff. So okay, so moving on then to my living room plants. This little one is actually my favourite plant. It's in a little pot from Penny's, and it's got a really cool bark, as you can see there. I love this one because I got this near the start of the first lockdown, and it has survived, and it's had a few near misses, though it has had a few times due to various reasons. All its little leaves have shriveled up and died, but it keeps on coming back. So for example, when I went home for Christmas, there'd been no heat on in the house for about 2 weeks, and I think that caused it to just collapse, but it's back again, so brilliant. And then this little one beside it, that is just a snake plant. Not, it's okay, it's got a wee bit of damage on its leaf there, but other than that, it's grand. I think you have to probably do quite a lot, touch wood, to kill a snake plant, because they're pretty easy maintenance. That's just in the pot it came in, as you can see there, and on a little saucer with some flowers. What are your thoughts on pot plants? Is it okay to keep them in the container they came in, or do you think it's nicer to get proper pots from the shops? Let me know. Okay, so this is the final plant that I've got in the house. It is a Aglaonema Maria Dine plant, I think that says. There's its little instructions. Again, that's a very low maintenance one. I got that from Dunn Stores again. That's just to show you it from the top. And it's quite funny because actually when I was in work, when I actually used to work in an office, I used to have a plant on my desk that a company had sent me in as like a little promotional gift. And my colleague who sat beside me, she would always kind of give me this, every so often would give me this kind of like withering look and take it off to be watered, and because she just knew I was desperate. And in the end I actually just said to her, do you know what, I think that would be safer and better off if it lived in your desk instead, and then you would actually take decent care of it. So considering that, I think I've not done too badly in keeping these alive. Okay, technically not a house plant, but this is a little plant I have outside. My neighbour kindly gave it to me. It is apparently an offshoot of a courgette plant, and there's a little nasturtium in there as well, which she said should create lovely red flowers if I manage to keep it alive. So that was very kind of my neighbour to give me that, and yeah, we'll see how that one does. Okay, so then outside my front door I have these two trees in pots. So unfortunately this one is unfortunately dying. I did not take great care of it, and it's quite sad, but anyway. So I think these are meant to be planted in the ground instead of kept in their pots. Could anyone give me advice on whether that's the case, or if it's possible to actually, well, the one that's still alive, keep it alive in a pot? If so, I think I'd like to get some nicer pots, because at the moment they're just in the pots that they came in. So I'll just shoot back to the one that's actually still living, and yeah, hopefully they'll turn out okay, possibly. Okay, hi guys, happy Sunday. Hope you're all having a lovely relaxing Sunday and you have nice plans for tomorrow. It's obviously the bank holiday Monday. Anyway, I had talked about my houseplants there. Actually, I forgot to say that the other remaining houseplants that didn't come from Dunn Stores came from Urban Plant Life on Cork Street, which is an urban outdoor garden centre. It's really cool actually. I would recommend you take a visit there. And actually the little plant that I said was my favourite, it was actually considerably healthier when I first bought it. I will insert a pic here, but you know what, it's still alive, and as I said, it's had its ups and downs, but it's kept going, which is brilliant. So last night I ended up being on South Ann Street when the Garda Riot Squad arrived in Dublin to tell people to move on. Now, I would prefer not to have to include something so kind of dramatic in a video which was just meant to be a regular little vlog, but I thought on reflection I'm going to include this because it is an accurate reflection of life in Dublin at the moment. So to give you a little bit of context to this story, I could just fudge the context of this and be like, oh, I met a friend, but I do want to be honest and say, to give you the accurate context, I was actually on a first date with someone, but I don't think it would be respectful for me to disclose any details about that person or what the date was like or anything like that in a public platform. That would just not sit right with me at all. So I'm just gonna, to give you the context, I'm gonna say I was on a first date, but I won't be revealing anything about the actual person I was on a date with. So we met up at 2 o'clock and we got a coffee, and I said, let's go to the park, have the coffee, great. And I just kind of thought that would end there, but then he was like, oh, let's go get a drink. So went to Keogh's on South Ann Street and got takeaway pints there. So as in Ireland, you know, you're having a few pints, having a nice time, you end up staying there for, you know, a few hours. So it's hard to, because I wasn't looking at my phone all the time to check the time, so it's hard for me to accurately give times here. But yeah, so throughout the day, there'd been maybe on the entire street there was about 60 people kind of milling around in little groups outside various pubs or whatever, you know. There wasn't, you know, there was, by and large, there seemed to be social distancing, like it wasn't too crazy. The pub was very well organised. They had the glass partitions up. You had to wear a mask in the queue. They seemed to have it, you know, well run, and it was working very smoothly, and there was no issues there. You weren't allowed to use the toilets in the pubs because the guys just said it would be too messy. But actually, Dublin City Council had done a good job in providing more portaloos this weekend, because previously that was a big issue. There was basically only 2 kind of public toilets that they'd installed at the top of Grafton Street, and there was always massive queues for them. And, you know, not to be too blunt about it, but like guys were like out peeing around the place. It was not pleasant. But this weekend they had actually installed portaloos in various locations. I had to go to use them on, you know, couple of occasions, and they were actually clean. for Porterloo standards, and the guys that were running them were friendly and sound and no issues there. So I actually thought Dublin City Council had done very well there in providing those Porterloos yesterday. So that was grand, okay. Everything was fine, everything was nice, you know, and about what time? This is just an estimate, but I'd say maybe around after 8 o'clock, maybe 8:30, there was like a group of like young ones arrived. They all seemed to just like one second they weren't there and the next second they were there, if you know what I mean. And there was no badness about them. They had like, there was a bit of bravado. They had like, one of them had like a big camcorder, and they were all coming down together like, hey, we're here to get the party started kind of thing. And they had like, you know, a big stereo, and I actually they were playing like, you know, Freed from Desire by Gala, and they were like, yeah, loving it. It was like the atmosphere of like a, you know, street festival or whatever. And I kind of thought, I was kind of, you know, I found this like amusing because like Gala Freed from Desire came out when I was 14. So I was like, oh, you know, these people, if they're like 20s, like teenagers, like early 20s, they weren't actually born when this song came out. So I just kind of thought it was funny. And yeah, I mean, there was a big crowd of them, and they weren't socially distanced, like they were packed in together. I still had my space immediately around me, if that makes sense, but they were kind of just, this group was kind of just over a little bit on the street, and they were packed together, and they were dancing and yay, and you know, the usual. And so that was grand. Yeah, they were, you know, dancing away and having the crack and whatever. And again, it's hard to predict the times, but I'd say about half an hour after this big group of young ones arrived, the Riot Squad arrived basically, and they were all in a line with their shields. And I've since looked at a news report of this, and they're technically described as like the soft cap Garda, but they had their shields up. So yeah, so basically we had got talking to this like group of like young ones from actually they're from all over, like Mexico, Puerto Rico, Spain, and this young one's, his friends had gone off or something. So I was like, he had 2 bikes to mine. So I was like, so basically when the line of guards first came, a whole load of people that had been like further on the street and that the guards had moved, they all kind of like moved back behind us. And me and this like young lad were like standing there with the bikes, and I was like, typical me, I was like, well, you know, we're just standing here, we're not doing anything wrong, like, you know. There's all these people that moved like back behind us. Anyway, so that was grand. Then they basically just started shouting, move, move, move. So I was actually one point which was very serious and not funny, I did see they did from, so the crowd behind us at this stage, I actually have a photo that shows kind of where we were kind of standing opposite Keogh's pub, and you can see in the photo where the guards were, and then other people were behind us, if that makes sense. So anyway, so basically someone from the crowd behind us threw a bottle. Now there was probably several bottles thrown, but I was really only aware of the one, and you know, that, you know, there's absolutely no excuse for that. That's terrible. And you know, that's just someone, you know, that guard could have been blinded or anything, so that is wrong. Absolutely, there's no excuse for that. But yeah, so stuff was thrown, and that's inexcusable, that's disgusting, like obviously that is just wrong. So anyway, that was grand, right? Not grand, it was horrible, but what I'm trying to say is like things moved on. Then the guards were shouting, move, move. So I was helping the guy with the bike. he had one bike, I had another bike, and we were just like, you know, moving these bikes on in front of the line of guards with their shields. And so when we got on to Dawson Street. So I have a little clip from where we were standing at the side of the street on Dawson Street. And moving up Dawson Street, and there was a line of them, and after a little, like maybe a minute or so, they started shouting, move, move, move. So we just moved up to the top of Dawson Street and got off the street, and the little guy came and phoned his friends. They came and got the other bike off him, so that was grand. And then I was obviously going home, and so I tried to get on to Grafton Street, and what do you call the street that the Gaiety Theatre is on? I tried to go on that street to walk home, but there was a line of guards there as well, and they said no, you can't access this way. They'd blocked the street off, so I just had to go a slightly longer route home, but like not a problem obviously. But what would I say about the whole experience? Slightly surreal, slightly bizarre to be on like a first date and have the Riot Squad come and move people on. Oh, do I think it's right or not? Okay, so there's several aspects to this. Firstly, okay, on-street drinking in Dublin is actually illegal, but it's rarely enforced. So you've got an issue whereby the pubs have been allowed to serve takeaway pints, and basically people are meant to stand 100 metres away from the pub to drink their drinks in the plastic glasses. And so you've got a situation where the pubs are serving you the takeaway pints, and they're saying, yeah, just stand over there and drink them, even though it's technically, you know, illegal on street drinking, but it's being allowed now. That law existed prior to COVID. So it's a little bit of an odd one. I suppose, yeah, if it had just stayed at the people who had been drinking during the day and by and large were in their little clusters and there was social distancing between them, yeah, there wouldn't have been too much of an issue there. I suppose the problem was, like, there was this like big gang of, and the police report had said there was 200 people, and I'm really not good at estimating numbers, but I would say that was accurate. There was a lot of them, like, and they kind of arrived, as I said, they had the whole bravado. They were like, yeah, you know, whatever, typical stuff. And yeah, so I mean, it was kind of like an on-street rave, and I mean, that's not good. Like, yes, okay, your risk of getting COVID outdoors are, you know, pretty minimal, but that's, you know, that's not referring to a context where people are packed closely together, shouting, singing, drinking. Obviously, people's social inhibitions go out the window. But then on the other hand, I mean, young people are going to want to go out and have a good time. So you could say, is it better that they all go on a street rather than like organising an illegal rave in some house somewhere? I just don't, what I'm trying to say is I don't have all the answers here. Was it too heavy-handed by the guards? I don't know. Like, I can see the rights and wrongs of the situation, because like we're in the middle of a pandemic. You can't have, a big crowd of that nature. It actually is dangerous from a public health perspective, never mind the potentially antisocial aspect of people drinking in a large crowd, whatever. As I say, I didn't have that sense that there was like badness, or the way sometimes there's like a feeling you get something bad is about to happen. I just did not have that feeling. I have been in situations like that in the past where violence did erupt, and it's a sense you have in the air that it's like bad. It's kind of like a tinderbox, wouldn't take much to set the thing alight, and I didn't have that sense last night. It was just like young ones just trying to have a good time, party, and I didn't have the sense of like there was badness there, but obviously there was an element that were throwing bottles. I mean, that's just indefensible, as I've already said. So yeah, I don't know where does this leave like Dublin from the perspective of, I mean, people probably aren't going to want to come into the city centre for like a nice drink in the afternoon if this is potentially what could kick off. I think possibly like when the cafes and restaurants like open for the actual sitting outdoors, and they have more defined like seating areas outdoors and more defined areas where people can actually stand outside certain pubs and things like that, that could possibly help the situation. But again, how do you say like it's an outdoor summer, we're all here and able to have a great time outdoors, but then you say to like young people, but no, you can't come here with all your friends. Like, they need to have more clearly defined rules, probably, whereby they say if you're in a group larger than 10 people, that's not allowed. Because yeah, of course we're told to socially distance at the minute, but I don't feel that there's like actually clear guidelines, because it did say in the report that it was an organized group. It may have been an organized group, and like someone got together on Facebook or whatever, messaged people and said, hey, let's all meet up. And but it was probably like individual friends as well who kind of got caught up in this crowd. And young people are going to go where like there's people having the crack, people having a bit of fun and dancing and music and all the rest of it. So what I'm trying to say here is I don't have a clear conclusion as to what should be done or what is the best way to tackle this, because you have to try and mitigate the effects of an epidemic, of a public health crisis. But then young people are always going to want to enjoy themselves, and we've been sold this idea of an outdoor summer, and now we're being told, yeah, we've told you to like, you can stand outside and have some takeaway pints, but not there and not there and not there. So what are people meant to do? So yeah, so that was a story, as I say, a bit of a bizarre ending to a first date there, but that's life in Dublin at the minute. So what are your thoughts on this? Comment down below and let me know. Thanks. Just jumping in here again with another point I forgot to mention. My friend Fintan is of the belief that the takeaway pints should just not be allowed, because he would argue that when people have takeaway pints, there's no way that they're going to have their takeaway pints and then just all go home. And they're going to go to a house party, they're going to go to a friend's house, whatever. Because obviously when people have drink, they especially Irish people, they usually just don't want to go home after one or two drinks. They want the party to continue. So his argument is stop takeaway pints altogether. The government shouldn't allow it, but the Vintners Association have been on to the government saying, no, we want the takeaway pints to stay. He probably has a point from a public health perspective, but then of course the government is also wanting to stop the PUP, pandemic unemployment payment, So what are people who work in hospitality and bars meant to do for money if that ends and we can't reopen again because we're having another wave? It's all just a bit of a mess, really, isn't it? So, yeah, we just have to hope things improve. Better situation in Dublin next weekend. I don't really think I have anything else to add to this video, so thank you very much for watching, and I'm not sure if I'll have another vlog next week because I'll be very busy in work. I possibly may be able to do something at the weekend, but if not, I'll be back the following week. So thank you. Bye.